In this clip, we review Google algorithm changes focused on a website's technical SEO, especially how user web page experience and signals like core web vitals, security, and advertisements impact Google ranking. If you want to see more Justia videos on law practice and legal marketing, be sure to subscribe to our channel.
So we go now to the technical SEO and the Google algorithm. The algorithm updates for this, we saw one update. This was for the page experience for desktop. And this was at the beginning of the year, around March. So what is this about? You know, this page experience update, it's a minor one. It's not a huge one. It shows, it shows that Google is treating desktop separately when they're looking at, at the signals, but it's still, mobile is still more important. So what did we see in this experience for desktop update was core web vitals, this is now a ranking signal. It talks about speed, responsiveness, visual stability. Then HTTPS, we said that before. This has been going on for a while, probably about 10 years, but Google considers security a top priority. So they want to make sure that the websites are safe for the users that visit them. And then we get the intrusive ads, and this is, who wants to see an ad, when you go to a website, you don't want to see an ad at the top of the site. A lot of the websites were also asking you, to download their app, stuff like that. So that definitely does not give, the visitor a good experience or a great experience like we would like to give. So this is something also to take into account. It's been taken into account with this page experience update. As I said, it's not a huge one, but it's still important. And we do have some predictions and recommendations as well.
Thank you, Anna. All right, so let's talk about the predictions on the technical SEO side. So what we think is going to happen is that Google will continue to focus on the performance metrics like core web vitals, right? Basically, this is based on what we've seen, right? So Google introduced core web vitals for mobile devices, right? And then that got incorporated into as a ranking signal into the algorithm. This year, it was brought to the desktop, right? So based on all of that, we feel this will continue to happen on the technical SEO side. So Google is going to be looking for ways to measure aspects of websites that relate to user experience. So right now it's core web vitals, and Google is using 3 specific metrics. We actually get into details about this on our technical SEO webinar, and we explain each of the metrics, and we explain the things that your web developer should be looking at. That's really good information if you want to learn more about it. But basically, right now, this particular core web vitals assessment relies on 3 specific metrics, right? And without giving that much detail, these 3 metrics measure how fast a website loads, for the user, right? How much time it takes for the website to be interactive. Like you open a website, that you can interact with that website right away when it opens, right? And the other metric, it's about if the website shifts content, move things around when somebody gets to that particular page, right? And this is really annoying, right? And if you guys are familiar with law.com, you may know what I'm talking about. So you go to the page and you see the content, but after you get to the page, then suddenly things start moving around and the content starts to be pushed down on the page. So again, Google understands these things are annoying for users, and you need to make sure that things load fast, right? They are responsive, right? That they are stable when it loads, because that really helps with the user experience. Okay, so right now we have these 3 metrics. But Google collects more metrics, right, beyond these 3. So we feel Google will continue to find ways to measure that, right? Maybe tomorrow Google incorporates a new metric into the core web vitals assessment, and that new metric may be called for different updates on the website, right? To improve, just make it better for the user. Okay. So that we feel that's there's gonna be focus on that for the next year. Another thing to note is that on the Core Web Vitals assessment, basically Google has this tool that's called the Page Speed Insight tool. You can now go there and actually you can just test one of your pages and then you'll get the score of the Core Web Vitals. The thing that matters on this particular assessment is the part that is at the top. This square at the top that has the score as passed. You want to make sure that your website has a passed on this particular test. Okay, that part at the top, that is the one relying on real user data, right? People actually going to your site and using your website. Google has information about their experience and they are giving you the score based on that. So it's important that you pass this particular score. So another thing that's going to be important is accessibility. And there's just some legal implications about it as well. And Tim, you want to go over that information?
So accessibility, Google has recently pulled this in as one of the tools you can do to help improve your page. And so it's right there on the page speed insights, and they've got some measurements in terms of things that you could fix or improve on. There's a couple things going on here. So first, the Department of Justice has said that if you're a business open to the public, obviously your accommodations need to be accessible to those that are disabled under ADA. And your website also has to be accessible. So you're going to need to make sure in particular that it's accessible to those that are visually impaired. Now, there's no sort of set of federal standards yet to sort of give you a safe harbor, exactly what you need to sort of match. But like the DOJ has said, even without those, you need to make sure it's accessible to whatever level that is. In the technical SEO webinar, we gave some tools and some things you can do to fix your site up and sort of to check to see how it's doing. Everything from, different alt text labels on forms, color contrast. But again, you need to sort of, at this point, get it sort of up to a certain level to at least protect yourself legally. What we believe is going to happen, and will depend a little bit of the timing of the federal government side, but the federal government will come out with some basic standards that websites need to match if they're, commercial websites serving the public. At that point in time, Google will take whatever those standards are, incorporate it into their tool, and they'll start pushing folks to meet those standards. So even though it's people that are visually impaired might be a very small percentage of your overall user base, so it might not have a huge impact on your Core Web Vitals if you don't do anything for these folks. Our belief is that Google will actually change their algorithm to get you to care because they have a lot of power. It's one of the things they did to get all the websites secure with HTTPS, right? They didn't need to do that, but they made it a ranking signal, and my goodness, every single website's now secure, right? So I sort of see the same thing happening as soon as there's some standards. I don't think they're going to jump ahead of the federal government on standards yet, because then if it's different, then they have their own issues there. But already they put this measurement in place, and you should get this fixed up anyways, just to make sure things are, you're not going to get sued. And the other part, I would say that most of the accessibility stuff is good for SEO. I mean, alt text on images, right? Having labels defined. I mean, it's stuff that you should be doing anyways, just for good SEO practices. But we do expect to see a push from Google that is particular to helping those that are visually impaired.
Thanks, Tim. Okay, so the next thing that we predict Google will continue to focus on is the schema markup on websites, right? So using that to enrich how they show pages on the search results. So schema markup, this is an open standard that was developed by big companies. Google was involved, Microsoft, Yahoo, different companies were involved. And there's a really huge list of different types of schema markup that you can incorporate. You should focus on the ones Google cares about, right? And luckily for everyone, Google has this page, this gallery of the schema markup that they pay attention to. This is the important ones that we should focus on. So, any of the schema markup that's applicable for your website, you should try to incorporate that. Now, out of the, every different type of schema markup Google pays attention to, there are ones that we believe are most important for you. So these are the ones that we believe are the ones you should really have on your site, right? Again, you can have all of them, but these three are the most important ones. One is the one related to the name, address, and phone number for your firm, like the NAP schema markup, right? And this one helps Google understand where you are located. You give them the business name, contact information, and that ties into local SEO, into the rankings in the map. So you want to make sure, if you care about ranking in the local results, you want to have this particular schema markup incorporated in your website. The next one is the FAQ schema markup. Okay, so we went over the importance of having frequently asked questions and how that gives you different views of the apple on Google showing on different places. Well, making sure that your website incorporates this schema markup will help Google find that particular information. Tim went over some of those details when he was talking about these FAQs. So the schema markup will just make it easy for Google to find these questions, right? And if they find them, if Google finds the question, you'll have a better chance to show on different places in the result pages. The next one is breadcrumbs schema markup. Not as important as the other two, but something that you should also incorporate. The breadcrumbs are basically the navigational links that you see on many websites that allow you to understand where you are located on that site. And at this point, I think every user is used to see those particular links. So one, add them because it's going to be useful for your prospective clients, so they are used to seeing those links. And two, with the schema markup for breadcrumbs, you are going to make it easy for Google to understand the structure of your website, right? So that also is important for the optimization of your site, right? Okay. Another thing that we believe Google will continue to focus on next year is AMP, right? So you want to make sure you use AMP for your mobile website, okay? So again, this is not a necessity, right? So any mobile site that is not using AMP could rank well with Google, right? But you do get a number of benefits when you are using AMP for your mobile website, right? So one is you get on Google servers, on cache servers, but the main benefit that you get is that your website, it's preloaded in the search results page. And what this means is basically, let's say that a prospective client is searching for a Chicago injury lawyer, right? In their cell phone, right? So they get the results. If your mobile site is using AMP, Google will start loading your website in the background, even before this user clicks on your site, right? So that way, when they click on your site, it's going to show up immediately, right? Like really right away. That is really good user experience, okay? So you really want to take advantage of that. And that can only happen for AMP mobile website. So just something to note. Really important that you take advantage of that.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this clip, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more law practice and legal marketing videos. See you in our next video.